Brett Prettyman with the Salt Lake Tribune. We're out Bald Mountain today in the Uintas. We're out looking for a tiny little creature known as the pika. Many people have seen him. A lot of people have wondered what they are. This gentleman right here, Kevin Laburn, Sensen's species biologist for the Division of Wildlife, is going to tell us what a pika is all about. Give us the basics. Where do they come from? What do they do?
Where do pikas come from? Well, they're native to Utah, and they're found throughout the state. And they're found in high elevation areas, in rocky talus slopes like this behind us.
And they're spread throughout the entire state, is that right?
Everywhere we have high elevation with talus, yes.
And what do they do? How do they make a living?
Well, they eat on grass, and they gather it up all summer, and they store it underneath rocks like we have behind here, and they make haystacks, and then they feed on those haystacks throughout the winter.
So they don't hibernate?
They don't hibernate, no.
And do they live in colonies or sporadic small groups or families? I
believe so. I mean, I guess maybe we don't really know, but we find haystacks that are large enough that several pika probably stashed hay underneath them and fed them off of the winter. Now,
there's two species or strains, or however you want to say
subspecies of pika. There's a northern one and the southern one. And they actually have two distinct calls also when they vocalize.
What other characteristics would be different from them? Is one larger than the other, or?
They're similar in size. I guess it probably has to do with evolutionary history. The ones in the north are more closely related to those that are found in Canada and through over to Oregon. Those in the south are actually more closely related to the pikas that are in the Sierra Nevada mountains.
And what predators do they have to deal with in places like this?
Probably the biggest predator is a long-tailed weasel, because the weasel can follow them into the rocks and into their hiding places. They probably are also preyed upon by hawks and coyotes.
So tell us, why is the Division of Wildlife studying pikas? Are they endangered? Is there something going on with them?
Well, first, we don't really know very much about them. So this is kind of baseline data to just start an investigation and learn more about them. But also, there's some concern that since they're a northern and a cold weather and a high elevation species, that global warming may impact them. And in fact, some other scientists have reported that they're disappearing from their southern range. And so we're starting a monitoring program to see if that's happening to the pika in Utah. And some of the thoughts of why that's occurring is because they think that when the snow melts off those peaks, then it leaves those pika open to exposure and they actually freeze to death up here. They rely on that snow cover to keep them insulated.
So when you come out to do your survey, what are you counting the certain number of animals per plot, or what?
Well, no, we're doing an occupancy model. We used a computer model with layers to create a model that would predict where the pika habitat was. And then we generated random plots, and then we've gone out and gone to those plots and looked for pikas at those plots. And then with occupancy, you're just seeing whether they're there or not, presence, absence. And if you detect them there, you record that. And we use hay piles, vocalizations, visual, and scat piles as our indicators of whether they're present or not. Nearly every plot we've gone to that has the right talus, the right size talus, and the right conditions has pika. So I wouldn't say they're rare at all.